guys, it's your boy Ruben, and I'm here bringing you another episode of The Real Grill, a deep and engaging discussion where we literally take apart all the ingredients of a movie, chop it up, and work out just how well the movies are put together. Because a great movie, I'm sure you'll agree, is comparable to a nice seasoned dish. It should be well balanced, flavoursome, and leave you feeling completely satisfied. Am I right? In this episode, we discuss Jurassic World Dominion, another entry into the long-running Jurassic Park franchise and sequel to the 2018 Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom movie. The movie follows on from the 2018 film, where Macy had just released dinosaurs into the real world, or into the world at large, forcing mankind to lean towards coexistence rather than containment. The film has quite a number of different plot lines. Personally, I found it quite, not complicated to follow, but just kind of, they were all layered one on top of the other. But it basically tries to bring together the original cast and the new cast for this third installment in the Jurassic World trilogy. It is a trilogy now, I think. Yeah. So yeah, there you have it. Sit back, turn up the gas, and let's get grilling.
So, like I'm gonna be completely honest with this movie. I wasn't 100% conscious throughout the whole runtime of the movie. So for me personally, this is more of a review of the series, the status of the series as it is at the moment, if that makes sense. So obviously just the whole Jurassic World, trilogy, I guess is what it is now. Is it a trilogy? No, it's the fourth movie, sorry.
It is a trilogy.
Is it a trilogy? Is it a trilogy? Oh, snap.
It's a Jurassic World, yeah. So it's a second trilogy, basically.
Yeah,
the Jurassic Park trilogy.
It's honest. It's like it's getting like Star Wars. It's so confusing. I can't tell where we are in the.
I'm waiting for Jurassic Universe, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Episode 1.
Into space,
Honestly. So I mean, did you guys all enjoy the movie? I guess I don't know if that's like jumping the gun, because I guess you could want to sort of start with the story.
It felt like it was worth watching the film.
I mean,
I think.
Sorry, I was gonna say, who has like a proper grasp of the story? Wanted to just kind of go through it really quickly, do a quick skim of the story.
Okay. Well, so following the events of the second Jurassic World movie, the little clone girl released all of the dinosaurs into the wild because they were about to die. So now all of the dinosaurs have been let out and they're free to roam in America. So this movie picks up 4 years after that has happened, where the dinosaurs have now basically had free reign over the planet, and humans are trying to get to grips with how to coexist with these dinosaurs that are just running around. So there's now a big billion-dollar company called Biosyn, which I think is responsible for capturing these dinosaurs and putting them in a big sanctuary where they can live without, killing humans. Is essentially where we pick up the story in Jurassic World 3, Dominion. We then see one of the main characters, which is Bryce Dallas Howard's character, the redhead. We see her breaking into one of these Biosyn facilities where they're holding some of the dinosaurs before they're transported to sanctuary, and apparently they think that because it's a big corporation, they're not treating the dinosaurs well, and they are dinosaur lovers, so they break out one of the dinosaurs and they want to report it to the government to say that Biosyn are doing horrible, evil things to the dinosaurs or whatever. So that's one of the plots. There's another subplot where for some reason Biosyn want to kidnap the clone daughter because she's the first of her kind, and Biosyn want to do research on her because they think that it can be used for scientific purposes. So they also go to try and kidnap her, but also they want to kidnap Blue. If you remember that raptor from the other 2 movies, Blue also has a child now, which was again completely created without any reproduction. It was a clone of herself, basically. So they want to kidnap that baby as well because it has the same genetic DNA and could also be useful. On top of that, there's another plot with the old cast.
Oh yeah,
I forget her name, the blonde lady She was in the first movie, first Jurassic Park movie, I should say. And she's investigating these locusts, these giant Jurassic locusts that are now sweeping the nation and eating up all of the grain and wheat of the farmers' fields, except for they're not touching any of the biosyn grain that resulted in their wheat grain. So it's only targeting all non-biosyn wheat and grain. And she's investigating that problem. She enlists the help of Alan Grant, I think his name, the old guy, to come in and help. I don't know why. I guess she's divorced and wanted a booty call. I don't know why he was necessary. But she invites him along for a ride, and they get a trip to Biosyn because Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum's character, he's working for Biosyn for some reason, and he's managed to get them a ticket into Biosyn so she can go there and get proof that the locusts are coming from Biosyn. So yeah, that is a synopsis of basically the first act. I don't think I missed anything. And please, anyone jump in.
I feel like you saved everybody like 2.5 hours.
Really.
Oh yeah, mindlessness.
That was just the first 40 minutes of the movie. First 40 minutes of the movie.
Oh man. I mean, I think the biggest issue is the kind of what it sets up, because obviously Subi, I don't know if anyone else kind of skipped the last movie, but there was quite a big cliffhanger with the whole the clone girl. That's obviously what she's going to be known as for the rest of the review. She releases these dinosaurs into the world, basically. So they're they go from like being in captivity. I think they were like they were gathered for like an auction. Yeah. So there was quick recap of the last movie. So they were basically some dinosaurs were rescued off of this island, which was basically in the middle of a volcanic explosion. There was eruption, which basically like wiping out all the dinosaurs on that island. And some of these collectors, they managed to save some of the species, only to have them auctioned off, including this sort of what would you call it, like genetically modified dinosaur, which is meant to be like the perfect killing machine, which is like the story for every Jurassic Park movie, really. Jurassic World movie. So yeah,
they invented a dinosaur that you could control by pointing lasers at the target.
Right.
So in this movie where she was pointing lasers at like people,
so
that came from the last movie. Yeah, that wasn't introduced.
Yeah, so there's a plot and elements that. Yeah, exactly. But the thing that kind of was a bit of a, I don't know, would you say letdown or just a little bit underwhelming, was because you have that kind of ending setup of, these dinosaurs now been released into the wild, so now they're gonna become incorporated into, I don't know, the Sahara, the savannah, the jungle, just the modern sort of concrete sort of like cities. Gonna have dinosaurs, so it's almost gonna be like living in Pokemon world. Do you know what I'm saying?
Flintstones action.
Yeah, Flintstones. That's what I was looking
thought it
forward
was
to.
going to be like some post-apocalyptic thing they were going to try and go down. Where we'll see but now they're now top of the food chain. They're now the predators of mankind, human beings, and mankind are trying to survive. But that's not obviously the.
Like I thought of the Predator 88 sort of thing.
Right, Like the possibilities they could have done with that concept would have been incredible.
I would have preferred that.
Yeah. I mean, this film, I just like, I don't know where they went wrong, because it's almost like they completely.
I was going to say, so I think Law's kind of recap. It actually tells you where they went wrong.
Yeah.
There were too many plots and subplots in the film.
Oh yeah.
Trying to be carried out by too many characters, and I think the issue that I had with the movie is that the way or the positions that the characters were placed in, for me, especially like the old cast, for one, made no sense. I don't know why Jeff Goldblum's character was working at biotech. He's not like a scientist or anything. And I have no idea why Ellie Sattler decided to recruit Alan Grant into the mix. They hadn't seen each other in years, and she was married to someone else. She had kids, so I have no idea why she went to get him.
Pretty cool, bro.
Just pretty cool.
Literally,
it just felt like they just really wanted to get the old and new cast together and throw them into a movie, but they didn't really give much thought into how, to make the story make sense and seem like coherent.
One thing I noticed is that the name of the movie doesn't actually match up with any of the plots, because it's called Jurassic World Dominion, and well, you don't really see much of Dominion, and it's just that everything's free. And when you hear the word Dominion, you expect, okay, the dinosaurs are taking over, you're trying to fight back or something. But
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
no,
I think they just put like some names in the hat, and then someone just blindly takes out the hat and like,
It sounds cool.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds It's just one of those generic, sort of sequel titles. I don't know, sequel titles. But yeah, I mean,
but most of the time, you get a name in a sequel movie, it's related to the plot or a character or something.
Yeah.
But the name had nothing to do with it at all.
I think they just thought it sounds cool, just throw in the word Dominion.
Oh, yeah.
Pick out the hat, bro.
This is the thing.
I mean, to be fair, like Jurassic World really doesn't actually match any of the movies. Don't
It's
really
true.
honor Jurassic World.
You know
Until
what?
the last one, really, when they got released, everything was all on the same damn island as Jurassic Park up until.
Wasn't the name of the park in the first movie called Jurassic World though?
Yeah, the name of the park.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair
But
enough.
so did anyone actually care for any of these plots? Did any of these plots for anyone actually make you feel like, oh, this is interesting, I want to see where this goes? Because for me, none of the plots actually carried any weight.
No, it was just a basic rescue mission, and then the grasshopper locust thing on the side plot as well, because it was just them trying to rescue the clone girl and the baby raptor,
Macy,
which
was
Macy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which again was so dumb. My man's making a promise to a raptor, and we're meant to believe that they actually understand each other. Like, I'll bring her back, and we're meant to believe the raptor's like, yeah, okay, I understood what you meant when you said that, because you put your hand up like that.
Are you telling me you didn't feel the heartstrings being pulled when Blue looked Chris Pratt in the eyes, and he was like giving him that roar, like it was like, you better kill up with Baby Blue or Blue too.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, Blue.
I definitely feel, because obviously the first movie kind of established Chris Pratt's character's relationship with Blue, like how he raised this she, right? Is it she? How he raised her. So obviously they had like a connection in the first movie. The second movie, you felt that connection was thinning because she was becoming a bit more, not like hostile, but a bit more like predatory. And then in this movie, it just kind of felt like they had no relationship. I mean, he straight up says at one point, like, I think when Macy asked her, "Are we going to be alright, or will she harm us?" He was like, "Yeah, she definitely will harm us. Like, she'll end us, bro." Like,
And that was a weird thing, because the movie really tried to portray this raptor like as innocently as you can, because it's been 4 years and we're meant to believe that raptor's not killed anyone, and they're just allowed, like, they've been eating bunnies for the last 4 years. No strong hikers not gone off. It's like, no one believes that this dinosaur is only been eating non-human.
listen,
I've got some defense for why he said that Ohama is because she's looking after her child. That's the only defense I can say.
Could be,
Could be, potentially, yeah.
There's another one, because it's a fucking raptor. It don't make sense. They're trying to turn this into like a pet dog, like it's a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah.
Also, it's been set up throughout all the movies as one of the most deadly dinosaurs and most intelligent dinosaurs there are. Like in Jurassic Park, these things were feared. And we're meant to believe that he has a pet one in his back garden in the forest.
Yeah, no.
That he can make promises with and saves his child. Oh, good. Yeah. It's dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, it made sense.
It's a bit silly. Yeah, I mean, because when I was younger, I used to be a bit of like a dinosaur nerd. Like I was actually really into dinosaurs, and I don't know if any of you know this, but there's obviously different period. Like not all dinosaurs came from the Jurassic period. Like there was a Cretaceous period. Well, I mean, I don't quite remember all of the names and whatnot, but I've just always wondered. I don't know if this is me personally. I've just always wondered, why they call it Jurassic Park or Jurassic World when they have different species from different time periods. It's a bit of a nerdy thing anyway. But one thing I liked about this movie is if you are like a I don't know, like a paleontologist, or you're into that kind of thing, I believe that this movie had like the most diverse array of species in the movie. Like it was like it was like dinosaur bingo, because there was like so many dinosaurs that have never even been shown in the other movies. So I guess in that
Which
respect,
also didn't make sense.
yeah,
Because
it doesn't
the
make any
dinosaurs
sense.
came from the second movie. There weren't that many of them.
There literally wasn't. Yeah, it was in this one house. They had all these species in this one house. They get released, and now all of a sudden there's
It's like Noah's Ark, bro. You know what I
it's
mean?
like Noah's Ark. Literally, it's literally that. Yeah.
But I did quite like how obviously they brought back obviously like with the similar in how they brought back the original cast. They brought back a lot of the dinosaurs that you meet from the first movie. I don't know what they're called. But obviously you got the T-Rex and you got those little ones which spit their black crap and stuff. So that was quite like there was some nostalgic elements to the film, and I thought that's probably the part of the movie which interested me the most, just having that nostalgia and kind of reliving in a way parts of the first movie.
Definitely.
I still think they used the nostalgia as well, like because they knew it was a bad movie, so they tried to put in some nostalgia to make it seem like, oh, it's not that bad. There's some good stuff here for you. But for me, I just focused too much on me not caring too much about what I'm looking at. So, I mean, it didn't really do much for me, I'm afraid. As much as I know the cast back together, it wasn't.
And I know Peter's always going on about how he likes like emotional stakes, like in a movie, like like maybe the fear of maybe losing one character, or like a main part of the cast. And I guess the issue with having obviously so many like named like good name actors that bring in the old cast as the new cast, it's like you kind of almost can say from the outset that no one's gonna die from the beginning, and obviously no one of the main cast does die, so you're kind of just left with like like there's nothing really to care about. There are no real stakes in this film. Like
Extra number 7 and thug number 3, he got eaten by a dinosaur. It's what did you guys think of the antagonist?
The winner. I don't know who is
billionaire.
I don't think you can get any more generic. Like literally, they've used this same villain has been copy and pasted in so many movies. Like he's obviously just like a I don't know, like a satirical sort of Steve Jobs. I don't know.
Cartoon,
a
cartoon
cartoonish
billionaire,
version of
basically.
that,
It's funny you guys say generic and cartoon billionaire. Because at one point, Sabrina was actually like, "Is this guy CGI or is he real? Like, is he an actual like person or is he CGI?"
Yeah.
Like,
My problem with it is that one of his motivations was to get this clone girl so they could use her, and then she gets out and he's like, "Hey, look for her," and then he just forgets about looking for her for the rest of the movie. Like she's fully running around and he just doesn't mention it again, which didn't make no sense. Like you were saying how valuable she is, and she's loose, and you don't know where she is, and you don't care.
It's true.
It's just very unfocused.
It's
It just feels very unfocused. Like there's no real like driving force which is keeping the momentum of the story. Because obviously there were so many different storylines, so many different characters, so many different things to focus on. They didn't have one sort of main objective, do you know what I mean, which I think was lacking. But one thing I did like is I feel with this movie, the visuals were really impressive. Like I'd say the 10-year-old me would have loved this movie actually, because I wouldn't have given a damn about the story. I would have just been like, oh, that looks so sick, it's like I'm there. It's like because this is a very cinematic film. Like the way certain shots play out, it's almost like you're watching a documentary. I don't know if you got that feel, but they do feel very realistic. Like they feel you get the impression that they're actually in that environment and they're actually sort of interacting with the humans and like the terrain and the surroundings that are there. And I don't know what kind of cameras they're using, but like again, it kind of reminds me of that sort of documentary style filmmaking, which would have been great if they just kind of focused on that. They didn't bring this kind of dumb locust storyline, which just made it cartoonish. So
You're absolutely right, man. Because I would have loved if they focused more on the fact that the dinosaurs in the real world, rather than the whole, let's go to this lab and try and get these locusts and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I loved all the stuff they did about, like they showed the black market of people like dealing dinosaurs and having dinosaur fights and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That bit was the only bit that was quite interesting to me,
Yeah.
but they just totally went
That's
from
it.
that, just started doing their own thing.
That's it, man.
Yeah, you really? I think I agree. So it would have been really good to actually see how these dinosaurs have adapted into the living environments in the world. Maybe even having shots of it from across the world perspective. Dinosaurs which are adapted to living in the desert, in more ice snowy environments, is how they've actually come to adapt. They didn't really focus on that side of it. In the end, they kind of just had them plopped in like one place again, like kind of thing for research. So, but anyway, I thought the coolest thing on screen for me was the locust, which were on fire.
Yeah, I like that.
That was pretty cool.
That was. I think that's the only part I was like, oh, it's pretty sick, bro. Like. Maybe they should have made the story about locusts, which can flame on, bro. Do you know what I mean?
It was sick. It was a sick visual. It was dumb though. It was really dumb. It was like, so you got these things trapped in like what single glazed glass. Like what it was like the whole point is you want to keep these things trapped, and they just burst through the glass. They could do that. It's like okay, that's what they're gonna do if you can set them on fire.
Yeah, because we were sitting in the cinema and I said, look, they're about to break out. It's like, no, they can't. It's double glazing. It's strong glass. I was like, they're about to break out.
Like these are bombs. These are bombs. Like, what kind of cheap glass have you got?
And you got wonder. You got wonder. Wait, they couldn't break out while they were.
They didn't break the
full
glass.
health.
They went for the events. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they did.
No, it was an
they did
enclosed
break- they
room. It
broke
was
the
an
glass.
enclosed.
Yeah.
Because they set on fire, innit? It was enclosed.
You're forgetting that somehow the fire made them stronger. Fire is supposed to
They
deal
flamed on
damage.
like they went.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The fire increased the impact capacity. So
See, and this is the thing. I thought when they broke out, the whole park was going to get burned down, and it was now going to be about we need to escape from this, this forest which is now on fire. But I don't even think they've done that, did they? They didn't even set the. Did they set the park
They did set the
ablaze?
forest on. Yeah, they had
Oh,
to. Everyone
I don't even
evacuated.
remember that.
Yeah,
Oh,
everyone
I don't even
evacuated.
remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason they didn't focus on it for very long is because it didn't make sense. Because after, I can't remember why, but for some reason they needed to turn off the power in order to activate the aerial detection system that stops the flying dinosaurs from flying away. They needed to turn off the power to turn that on. It made no sense. It made absolutely no sense.
Dude,
Like,
you should,
how does that work?
Come on, Lawrence, you should know this by now. Every computer system glitch can be solved by a hard reset, bro. You turn it on and off.
You say it makes no sense. That one I can get behind. It's the scene where they land in the ice cold water. Man gets up and sprints like it was nothing. That's the scene I didn't believe. Turning it off and on again. I do that all the time. I do that every day at work.
Also, speaking of the ice cold water, don't you think like what's it, Claire Daring, whatever her character is, the redhead, like you said, bro, she should have just stayed in the plane. Like they suffered no damage from that plane crash. Like she was in more danger from getting ejected.
yeah, no, legit, yeah. I had that.
Oh,
And
And also, I've never seen a plane like that have an ejector seat. I don't even know how that works. Like, what does a roof dematerialize and she shoots up and then rematerializes again? The planes like that don't have ejector seats. It's just not logical.
So built me.
Oh man. Yeah.
I want to know what
And why would, if you're a pilot of a plane, why would you have the ejector seat not be your seat?
Especially when the pilot, she was quite a lone wolf. She didn't really she came across like she didn't have any friends she wanted to mix with. So you don't know she's not giving people a lift in that plane. She only transports cargo. So yeah, why did she make the backseat an ejector seat?
No, but if you're like you gotta think like how annoyed would you be if you were a passenger in that plane and the pilot all of a sudden ejected out of the ceiling?
I wouldn't be getting on that plane. I wouldn't be getting on that plane. Like,
no, but you're already in the sky. the plane is flying, and you just see the pilot just go out on the roof. Like, what are you gonna do in that situation?
Oh Lord, bro.
What are you gonna do?
It's such a what an image.
Yeah.
But you know, I want to.
Done.
No, because I was gonna see what your thoughts were with the whole dinosaur battles, because it felt like they were trying to, the dinosaur fight from Jurassic World, the first Jurassic World. At the end, I thought that was actually a good movie, and I thought that was a good climax.
I actually liked the first one. Yeah.
That was really intense. That fight at the end, it was like a Royal Rumble. And I feel like they tried to kind of emulate that in this one as well, towards the end.
At the end, yeah.
With the dinosaur that looked like Cardi B, because it had like the long nails. The
legs.
The Wolverine dinosaur, yeah. I mean, it was kind of cool, but it just didn't have it didn't carry the same weight. I don't know.
It's because we hardly saw them in the movie. In the first film, we saw the main, what was it, like a super strength version of T-Rex? I can't remember what it was, but we see that was like the film and stuff. That's where it was more impactful. But here, they just put it at the end. It's like, let's have a really good dance fight at the end that doesn't really have anything to do with the film, and that's what they did.
It's just a shame.
It's fine. He'll be back. It's probably his net. But you know, it's actually quite interesting about the dinosaurs. Actually, it actually goes to show you that with some consistency, they could have put some really strong themes into the movie. And one of the most memorable scenes for me in the film is actually the one where I think it's where they first introduced. I'm just going to call it the Wolverine dinosaur. Where they first introduced Wolverine, and he's chasing the character Claire, and she goes into that patch of water, and all you can see from behind the camera is just feet and the long claws. And I thought that was actually quite a scary thing, the way it was walking behind her, and you just see these long, like kind of Freddy Krueger-like claws. I thought that was pretty powerful. I think if they kind of tried to make this movie or take it towards more of a horror thriller kind of thing, rather than just leave it as, make it family friendly, maybe it would have.
Basically, what Jurassic Park's known for, what the first film was for, was all those horrifying bits.
It was definitely. It was a survival horror.
I think the movie they should have made is a movie about them trying to capture these dinosaurs that were in the wild, because obviously those dinosaurs weren't born there. I assume they must have taken them from somewhere. So it would have been interesting to see like people trying to capture these dinosaurs to transport them in there, and seeing how they interacted with the actual city environment that wherever they were or wherever they escaped from.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't know where that dinosaur came from, to be fair, but like it would have been interesting to see how they caught it, and how they caught that Gigantosaurus Rex or whatever the biggest one was.
Yeah.
In other words, Lawrence wanted Monster Hunter done right, bro.
Absolutely.
How did they catch all these monsters? Like, you ever see how did those black market guys capture those dinosaurs, bro?
Yeah, it was actually quite weak as well. Like when the old cast and the new cast come together. Usually in a movie, that's meant to be like an epic moment, like the old and the new first meeting up, where they're kind of their missions kind of intertwine and their first interaction. But I don't even think that was quite epic or memorable. I think they had like some one-liners, and it just kind of seemed quite awkward to me.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but for me, it was mainly because I don't really care that much about the new cast.
Yeah.
Like I care about the old cast, but I didn't really care that much about the new cast to really be impacted by them finally meeting together.
And also it was the first time they met as well, so it's not even like there was any sort of there was nothing to build off of really.
It was like
on the old cast, it's like even the old cast, like apart from the first movie, they weren't in the same movies that much either. They're only all in the Jurassic Park. Whereas in the second one, that was only Jeff Goldblum, and in the third one, it was only Alan Grant. And so it wasn't as impactful because, I mean, they're just not that close knit of a group. I mean, they'd hardly seen each other for like 30 years or whatever it was since the last one. So
it just felt like they're jumping on that. They're jumping on that trend of bringing back legacy characters from their old movies, which a lot of franchises are doing right now. But with this one, as you were saying, Subi, they just don't carry, well, the new ones anyway. They just don't carry the same sort of, I don't know, emotional weight. which kind of makes you care that you're seeing these new characters interact with the old characters. Because we're all here for the dinosaurs. I've never really cared about the humans as much. They're just there to be picked apart or to be, see gruesome deaths. But you don't even get that in this movie. So,
there weren't many deaths in this movie. There were
hardly,
literally.
Yeah,
there was just a bad guy. There was no meaningful deaths. It was all just extras, basically.
But Ruben did bring up something that is like very historical for a movie like this. I think there was like 2 or 3 black characters by the end of the movie, and you were like, "Hold on a minute, you're telling me that there's a survival horror movie and 2 black characters got to the end of the credits."
It gets worse. It gets worse. It was that character Ramsey when he gets in the plane at the end of the movie and sees I think Kayla, the pilot, and he gets in. Everyone else starts getting it, but he gets in the plane. And the pilot specifically turns to him and gives him a nod, like, yeah, bro. But I was like, these guys have never met. Like, what is up with that? It's like, nod, bro. Like, that's all I think that symbol is. Ignores everybody else, looks directly him in the eye, and it's just like, yeah, bro. I had to rewind that. That's the only part I had to rewind. But I need to watch that again, bro.
But yeah, I mean, and also the pilot character, I don't know why she was in the movie at all, to be honest, in terms of how they portrayed her in the first scene. She literally had that redhead begging her to help her find a door, and she was like, kick rocks, bruv. Like, I don't care. And then randomly, she sees her hanging off a building and decides, I'm going to drop everything and help you all of a sudden. It was the biggest 180 I've ever seen in life. It's like, oh yeah, the movie needs to happen, and it can't happen if I don't enter it. So I will help you now.
Again, they needed a pilot, and obviously because of all the cast members, they had no time at all to focus on the backstory or character development of every other character. They literally just introduce you to her and just say, yeah, we need someone to fly a plane.
We know it's against the law, we know it's really risky, we can't pay you, but can you do it for us, please? I was like, okay.
I felt guilty about the little kid thing. That was pretty much it. That was her backstory.
Welcome back. Yeah.
Welcome back.
All difficulties and all sorts.
That's all right. I will also say, so MVP or the main character for me of this movie was the black guy Ramsey. He was basically the guy. He was basically like the silent hero who allowed victory at the end. He was the one actually making the key decisions and kind of taking out the barriers in everyone's way throughout the film. And actually, I remember like there was that scene where he says to the scientist Ellie and the dude of the Indiana Jones dude, where he says to them the lifts to take you back to your train pod. Don't go down that lift. That leads to the lower levels. Restricted access only. And obviously, when you looking at it, it's like, why would he say it like that? But then obviously, you find out you've been on it. It's like, oh, okay, that's why he specifically is telling them where to go. Oh Lord, yeah, he was MVP, man.
Cool. Yeah. Well, it's good. It's good that you at least found someone to root for, I guess.
I did.
That's
I'm
more
glad.
than anyone else can say. That's more. Oh, it is. So, anything else you guys wanted to sort of like look back on, or do you want to kind of get straight to your final thoughts? Or... I mean, I would.
Why much to really cover?
Yeah.
They need to learn not to keep that Henry, Dr. Henry. Yeah, they need to learn this guy. If he's in the film, something's gonna go wrong. I swear he was in the first movie, and he was the one in the lab who was making it.
Every problem that has ever happened is because of him. And now he's like, well, I'm the only one who can fix it now, so you can't kill me off.
Yeah, that's what's
just like. This bitch should be arrested. Like, the amount of people that are dead directly because of your ass.
And I like the fact that Jeff Goldblum's character actually pointed out, it's like, why is he here?
Your fault, bro.
It's all his fault.
He had his little redemption arc, redemption kind of work at the end. It's like, oh, okay, I'll fix this one problem and it redeems me.
Wasn't a real redemption.
Yeah. He finally started to feel guilt. Like, and it's like, yeah. But
And also, how do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about the clone girl Maisie? Again, she was the one who was responsible for releasing these dinosaurs into into the wide world, causing countless deaths and danger to obviously humanity as we know it. And yet she doesn't seem to face any kind of repercussions for it. Like
not even any sort of like remorse or
no remorse
about what the hell she did. Like, people are literally dying, and I don't buy this whole 37 deaths or however many deaths they said there was. Like, shut up. If there's that many dinosaurs just running around, like, like I'm sure more people die like from digestive biscuits on the plants. But yeah, the fact that they just gloss over that, like, did they ever find out who did it? Did they it was weird that they just glossed over that part, because I thought that was a pretty big plot point. It's like, where did the dinosaurs come from? Like, did no one ask that question? Like, no government's like, well, there's all of a sudden there's dinosaurs everywhere. What happened?
Yeah.
I mean, this whole trilogy is based on conveniently cutting out things that they don't want to talk about.
Yeah, it's just too much work.
And do some shit.
Because they do want to make her out to be one of the protagonists and the good guys, but I ain't gonna lie, I was rooting for her to die. I knew it wasn't gonna happen. But like, I feel like if anyone deserves it, she's one of them. Like, how many people are dead because of her dumb-ass decision?
Well, it's just like, she's the real antagonist of the film, bro. Do you know what I mean? She's the reason why people are getting taken out.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the protagonists, the new cast, they're selfish motherfuckers. They are really selfish. Like, the amount of selfish shit they do, like releasing the dinosaurs, allowing Blue to just roam around, like, and any unsuspecting hiker or passerby might get eaten at any point. Like, it's just, they don't treat dinosaurs like actual dinosaurs. They treat them like they're pets, like harmless pets. And it's just ridiculous. So it made it hard to root for them as a cast. At least with the older cast, they were actually like, hated dinosaurs after what happened to them in Jurassic Park. They were like, fuck dinosaurs. They're like, I enjoy looking at their bones when they're dead, but I don't like dealing with them when they're alive. Like, but the new cast are like dinosaur lovers. Like, it's just like, after your experience, you shouldn't be.
The thing is, the whole premise of this movie is a bit off, because, like, I'm pretty sure if someone said, yeah, there's dinosaurs running around, the army's gonna mobilize immediately. Like, these people, this thing's gonna eat us.
Oh yeah. The
army's be like, run this, airstrikes, all sorts. Shoot on sight.
Trust me.
I don't know.
Again, it would have been good at least having a scene, at least showing where humanity tried to do that, and maybe for some made up reason they couldn't obviously follow through with it. Maybe like they could mobilize in time. You know what I mean? But obviously they didn't do any of that. So yeah, I think you're totally right. It's just another kind of thing they could have done to make the movie seem more realistic, which they didn't do. Another kind of stuff. Oh, sorry. Go ahead if you're going to comment on that. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, they could have gone like. They could have got far more like philosophical and moral about the morality of killing life for the convenience of humans, and should dinosaurs, because they are, is it right to just kill them off again, or should they be protected like we do for other animals? And it would have been seen to see both sides of that argument, because there would be both sides, like in the Senate, and what the governments would agree to do and all that, and it glossed over pretty much everything on that basically.
Actually, in all fairness, they did kind of do that in the last movie. I hate to kind of rain on your parade, but I remember Jeff Goldblum, he was lobbying for the rights of dinosaurs, because they wanted to basically put them on this island where with the volcanic eruption, so they would all be wiped out. Do you remember?
I remember that, but that was when they were on the island, and a natural disaster was going to kill them off. Whereas this would be them actively seeking to kill them. Whereas rather than allowing them to die and actively killing them is a little different. Because I think the argument, because I think he was for letting them die, wasn't he? I thought he was for letting them, because it was
okay, right.
It was like, don't mess with nature. Nature wants to take them out.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off what you said, sorry, you brought up the question of morality, and that actually leads on to the other thing, which I thought been a good focus of the film. The scene where I think main protagonist, the silverhead dude, describes Macy as company property. And I thought that would have been another thing they could have focused on. When do you consider like legally a person and not just property? Obviously, because she's a clone created, well, kind of like a biological clone, which her mother gave birth to. But yeah, she's a clone basically, which was made using company property. So, you know, I thought that would have been quite a good thing to introduce to the film. Like, you know, how do you consider a person, which they didn't focus on. Again, I'm not even sure they even like touched on that at all.
No, they didn't.
It was a missed point. I think that would have been quite touching to see.
Yeah, there was a good comment at the beginning where she said she was like, "I'm not a real person anyway," but they just glossed over that really.
Glossed over it.
Yeah, really.
Oh man, they glossed over her relationship with parents. One's adopted parents. You have that one scene at the beginning where she's like, "Oh, you're not my mom. You can't tell me what to do." Whatever teen says at one point, or most teens say, or whatever. But yeah, again, like towards the end of the film, it's pretty much just like you know, just you have that scene where she's looking at them happy families, but you don't feel any connect. You don't feel any connected with these characters. They just look like a bunch of strangers eyeing each other up to me. I didn't see any emotional attachment with these characters in the film. Especially
Exactly.
like when
She said, "That's my parents." It just felt so weird to me. She said that. I just didn't feel it at all.
It was awkward. It was definitely awkward. But yeah, I think that's it. Why? I still want to know what the mathematician so important to this franchise. Yeah, he's chaos theory in that, innit? Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. I've got nothing left.
Cameron, have you got any urgent points which you wanted to burst out?
Nah.
Connecting cuts off again.
Nah, I'm good because I know I'll stop talking and it'll cut me off.
Even your internet connection is dissatisfying. Like, I'm not even gonna let you be here. Should we go into scoring then? I'll just say music for me was not memorable. That was it. Yeah, nothing on music. Just background. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think I'll kick it off. So yeah, basically watching this movie, going in, I did hear there was quite a bit of backlash from critics and audiences saying how this was a letdown, and I feel it's because obviously the previous movie did give up. Oh, are you guys having audio issues? Or just me?
I can hear a bit.
I can hear a bit.
Yeah, I can hear some. But I can hear you fine.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So as I was saying, so there was, if you've looked at ratings and stuff, this movie hasn't been getting the best ratings. So with that in mind, I came in. What is one of you guys speakers on or something? Because I'm getting a bit of feedback. No. Okay. Yeah. Cheers. So we're coming into this movie. I had quite low expectations, especially with obviously the previous movie setting up, being disappointing, but at the same time setting up a exciting concept of having this post-apocalyptic dinosaur universe. I felt like the film just let go of all that potential. It didn't really carry on the torch of to make this potentially an even greater franchise, or like sort of a Monster Hunter type universe, which we all would have loved to see. But I think the biggest letdown was just there was just too much. But it's like quantity over quality. It was just basically just trying to put a lot of these stories with tangled plot points. The one thing I did like about that was how they really sort of tried to sort of put a variety of dinosaurs in there. I guess if you're a fan of dinosaurs or dinosaur history and your dinosaurs, even there was a bit what actually I wanted to bring up is I think it's the first time they've actually shown an accurate dinosaur with feathers. I don't know if you guys remember that part, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That I've never seen that in the Jurassic World or Park movie before, and it really does go with that documentary style filmmaking. I just really love that because it just felt so realistic, especially the bit where the sea monster comes out of the water. That scene just felt so authentic and organic. But as a movie itself, with emotional stakes, as I like, that's what I'm all about. Mr. Emotional Stakes just didn't really do it for me. It had some cool visuals again with the lotus on fire, but again that storyline felt arbitrary and didn't really serve the greater purpose of the Jurassic World overarching story. You know, the kind of the saga as we know it. It just didn't really. If this is the last movie in the trilogy, it didn't do a good job of doing that, of like making this the last movie. So let's hope we get something better than that in the future. But I think I've rambled on long enough. I would give this movie probably a undercooked. I'd say it's pretty underdone, and it's like, you know, too many ingredients, like not enough seasoning. So I'd say I'd compare that to maybe like a 4 on the scale of like out of 10. But that's just me. I don't know about you guys. If you guys wanted to share.
Yeah, I'll key in next. Yeah, like I think again, like a lot of missed opportunities. I think you summarized it quite well. Too many ingredients, arguably too much seasoning as well, all kind of stacked into one film. Just with the cast, too much main cast members, too many subplots, too many themes which they kind of touched on like maybe one scene, but then never looked back on it again. And you're constantly thinking like, are they going to return to this? Are they going to return to this? And they don't. They just introduce something new, like along the way at every turn. So yeah, this kind of messes up the pacing for the movie. And obviously, like you said, we're here to see dinosaurs in it, but for some reason the main plot was about, well, I think Lawrence called them dinosaur locusts when I spoke to him before, or like Jurassic locusts or whatever. But yeah, I just thought it was just very uninteresting. I think it would have been a lot better if they just kind of went for the typical post-apocalyptic world. How are human beings surviving in this world of dinosaurs? That would have been a lot of fun to see. You know, the human beings being, you know, knocked down one peg from the food chain. And I think, you know, probably if dinosaurs did come back in the world, arguably maybe that's something which you would expect to happen. It would be quite a scary thing. So yeah, there were a few good scenes in there. Again, the locust that won fire, that was a pretty epic, you know, I thought it was a pretty epic scene. I would have liked to see a lot more of that kind of caliber of events in the movie. And the scene with the Wolverine dinosaur, I looked it up, don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but the Cerizinosaurus with 3 claws, that was quite a scary scene where it was following, I think her name's Claire, in the jungle. That was very scary. So definitely, if they are going to make any Jurassic movies, they should just try to make them scary thriller movies. Just throw away all this family-friendly stuff now. Let's just make, you know, scary movies, because we're all used to seeing dinosaurs. For me, movie, yeah, pretty undercooked. I wouldn't go so far to say it's raw, just because, and that's only because it's part of a franchise, so it does have, you know, it's carrying on some things from the previous movies. But yeah, pretty undercooked to me. I think I would give it a 3, if I'm being honest. And it's hard because one thing I will say is that obviously when the first Jurassic Park movie came out, it was an amazing thing because it was like, you know, one of the first times where dinosaurs were on screen in color, and it was like this new amazing thing. And I just feel like this movie hasn't added anything from that. But obviously, because you've seen dinosaurs on screen before, you don't get that same burst of excitement from seeing it. It's just like, oh, I've seen this before, it's nothing new, kind of thing. So yeah, I wasn't too impressed. I'd give it a 3. It took me 2 days to watch it. So yeah. I understand why Subi was not on seeing this movie. I regret recommending it to him now. Sorry, so
I'll go next before my internet cuts out again. So I thought it was a relatively average dinosaur movie. The dinosaurs, they look good. The CGI was great. There was a good couple fight scenes. Where it failed for me was the character development and just character motivation, because the pilot, she starts off the movie saying that she doesn't want to be part of it, and then does a 180, and there's no reason behind it, which just, it didn't make any sense. And she's putting her life on the line for these people she doesn't know. She's known for 30 seconds. Yes, like Ruben said, if they made it a bit more scary, it would have been a lot better. That scene with the blind dinosaur, that was actually one of the best parts of the movie for me. There's a lot more of it was just ridiculous and just like, why are you doing that? Saying that, I thought it was better than the second Jurassic World movie, but on par, I guess, with the first one. So for me, I'd give it just a solid 5. It was an average movie. It wasn't bad, wasn't great, just meh.
So you watched it in one sitting.
Yeah.
You didn't like pass out or anything.
Nah.
Or, like fall asleep. Okay.
I mean, he has to, right? Because he watched it at the cinema.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Got to get my money's worth.
Yeah.
I'll go next then. I think this movie was falsely advertised based on the name. Dominion, those who want to know, means sovereignty or control. The dinosaurs had no control over that planet. That is what they could have done. I think that would have been a far better movie is if the dinosaurs had actually spread far more and seeing how the humans would deal with that. It was nothing to that effect. Plots or basically all of the subplots were pretty weak. The villain was cartoonish. His motivations, his plan was dumb. Releasing the locust, they didn't really explain why. It was a really stupid plan for someone who's meant to be the head of $1 billion company. He would be a lot smarter than to just release a pathogen like that, who is so easy to identify as his because it was only targeting feed that wasn't his from his company. So it was like the governments of the world would have recognized what he was doing very quickly anyway. It's just a dumb plan. And it just gives them a reason to go to Biosyn and make them the bad guy. I think they could have done a far better job of creating a decent villain. But that has been the consistent theme of Jurassic World so far. All of the villains have been pretty stupid and cartoonish. So it continued the trend. It sounds like I'm being harsh, but I'm not as harsh on this movie. I'm not being as harsh on this movie as it deserves, only because my expectations were very low. This is what I expect. This was the level of quality I expected. So that's probably why I'm not going to give it as low a rating as I probably should. But yeah, the cast I didn't care for. I haven't really cared for them in the previous movies. Bringing back the old cast is a tired old trope to try and bring back some nostalgia points. Didn't work on me. Didn't care for them. 2 out of 3 of them shouldn't have been in the movie. I guess you could make the argument that Ellie looking up, coming after the locust and all that makes sense. I guess because that's part of a role. I guess he's interested in that shit. Although we don't really know because we haven't really seen her since Jurassic Park. So, but it is So there was just so many issues with this. The only good point in this movie was the dinosaur fight at the end. Good CGI. And you turn your brain off and just see dinosaurs fighting each other. It just looks cool. As long as you don't think too much about it, because I never really understand. It's like how dinosaurs decide which side to take. Like, why did they do a 2-on-1 at the end? Why didn't they just start killing each other straight afterwards? I don't know. But it looked cool. Him throwing the big dinosaur onto the Wolverine claw one and stabbing him. Yeah, that was good. But I think what Ruben said as well. I think because it has to be family friendly, these movies, because they still want to make as much money as possible, it really constrains what they can show and what they can do in terms of showing it. So again, there were no stakes. We didn't really see anything. I don't think, and apart from the villain, anyone died in like the last hour of this movie in a Jurassic World movie. If you think that once they got to the island, no one died but the main villain. Because obviously they just had the main cast, that's all we saw. No one else died apart from that, yeah. And I just think it kind of lowers the stakes because it's just like, well, if no one's dying, I mean, you got an island full of people. We didn't even see any of the extras die, like the people that were evacuating. So it's a bit odd. So anyway, to summarize, I think this was a pretty poor movie. Is it worse? I think the first Jurassic World was probably the best one. I didn't think that one was great, to be fair. I just thought that was average. The second one I thought was stupid. And this one I think was as stupid, if not slightly more so. But this one at least had some better set pieces, whereas the second one, they were basically in a house for the entire movie, which is a shit setting for a dinosaur movie. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 10.
Whoa.
Subs?
Getting lower and lower.
Oh, so I mean, without wanting to repeat everything everyone said, because I think everyone's pretty much said everything for me, which is good because I couldn't agree more. I can just quickly add that what would have made this a good film that we've touched upon is the fact that it should have been more like Jurassic Park, where it focused more on the horror elements of it and the thrilling sides, which is what which is, I mean, that's literally the main thing people loved about the first movie. I don't think they cared that much about the story. It was a good story, but they didn't care that much. They cared about the thrill and seeing dinosaurs almost kill people and then kill people, etc. So they could have focused more on that, and also focused more on, you know, the main cliffhanger of the second film, which is that dinosaurs are now roaming the actual world, rather than after doing that going back to an island. I mean, it's just kind of a weird move for me. So yeah, just a lot of missed opportunities and too many subplots that I didn't care about, and yeah, it's just too many bad decisions. Too many bad decisions. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it short. I'm just gonna straight up say it's a raw for me, I'm afraid. So that's about 2 out of 10.
It's a raw. Is it a raw?
Absolute raw.
Okay.
No salt, no pepper, yeah? All
The
right.
only reason I gave actual 2 rather than like a 1 or 0 is that there were obviously like some scenes were actually quite nice with the CGI, and I could appreciate there were some practical effects that I liked as well, because I feel like the dinosaur on Chris Pratt's back was like a real like practical thing, the way his eyes were moving, all this kind of stuff, because it looked really real. So stuff like that I can appreciate, which is where it gets to 2, but everything else, I'm afraid, yeah, it's a no.
It's a very forgettable movie, isn't it? It's very forgettable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's a shame, really. It's a shame. But I actually wanted to ask Cam, because you saw this in the cinema, did it make a difference? Because you said you actually enjoyed. I think you've been the one that has rated the highest out of everybody, isn't it? So would you say watching it in the cinema made it any better? No.
Is it there?
He's got-
I think he's asleep.
I watched it in the cinema with him.
He's still traumatized. He's still getting flashbacks. He's getting flashbacks.
Just stay perfectly still all this time without moving.
Oh, man. Well.
I watched it in the cinema with him.
Oh, you were there as well. Okay, then I take that
Yeah,
back.
I watched it on cinema as well. So, to the extent, how would I have rated it lower if I'd seen it at home? Probably not now. I don't think the cinema helped or hindered it, to be fair. It's not one of them movies where I think this, I probably would have watched it fully either if I was watching it at home or watching it in the cinema, so I don't think it had any bearing on it. It wasn't that type of movie where I think the cinema added anything to it, really. Because it didn't really show much in the movie to help it anyway, so, you know.
Yeah, no, I guess not. And Subi, would you go back and watch Jurassic Park? What was the last one called?
Fallen Kingdom. No, I would not.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
I did watch the summary video like you told me, so I knew what was happening. But yeah,
Right.
no.
Right, okay.
All right, cool. Let's.
I would and have watched the Jurassic Park trilogies over and over again.
Yeah.
But well, not regularly, but when they're on. I would never watch these movies.
Yeah.
Any of them.
I mean, the Jurassic Park, they're decent, like afternoon
Should we-
movies. If they're on TV or something, like I would sort of watch them.
I mean, if they're on TV, I would watch them. Like if they're on, if Jurassic World's on TV, I wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't go out of my way to watch Jurassic Park. But if it's on, I might watch it just to see some people die, because people actually died in those movies.
Cool, man.
So yeah.
And there you have it. The verdict is out on Jurassic World Dominion as mostly undercooked. But if you enjoyed the movie or maybe had some insight into some of its more stronger points, we'd love to hear from you. Do drop your thoughts in the comment section. Likewise, if you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to like, comment, and slap that subscribe button to help support what we do. And we'll catch you next time at The Real Grill.